So now that we've done a couple of KSP problems, we've gone forward and backward on them. The only other real thing left to talk about is if you have a common ion effect. And so you got to look at your KSP as not existing in a bubble. There are going to be other ions present, and you can manipulate the ions by adding a slightly more soluble compound with one of those ions. You can, force a precipitate by kind of driving the solubility one way or the other. But let's start out simple. And let's start out with copper hydroxide. That's copper 2 hydroxide because you see two OHs there to match with the one copper. So that's copper's plus 2 form. And then it's got a KSP of 1.6 times 10 to the negative 9th. And they want to know the molar solubility of the copper because they're giving us the concentration, not the solubility. They're giving us the concentration of the hydroxide that we have, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a KSP, and my KSP is going to look like CuOH squared. Okay, so I've got my KSP equals CuOH squared, and then I'm just going to plug in my numbers, and then we'll see how that looks. Now, the one thing you have to keep your eye on, and this is the kind of, whoops, I forgot to put the charge on the copper, Cu plus 2. And this is the kind of thing that just makes first-year kids, or, anybody, rip their hair out, is you're so used to, with that OH, because you're used to substituting X, to put a 2 there and, go 2 something. But you don't do that here because they give us the exact number. So you don't have to double it because we're not not estimating. What's the word I want here? We're not using math to predict it. We know what it is. So your plug-in should look like this. So it should be 1.6 times 10 to the negative 9th. And then here is 1 times 10 to the negative 4th, not doubled, because that is the concentration. Okay, you don't have to define it in terms of the copper. That's the concentration. And then we square that, and then divide this by that, and that'll give you the copper. I'll show you that real quick. So I think the main issue that really anybody's going to have with this is doing this calculator gymnastics to make sure that you put things in and you're not squaring the wrong stuff. So my formula should be that. And so I did the top part, 1.6 times 10 to the negative 9, and then equaled it so it showed as an answer, and then divided by parentheses. And then there's my 1 times 10 to the negative 4th, 0.0001, squared it. And so that should work. And I get an answer of 0.16 molar for my copper plus 2, and that's correct. So that wasn't too bad.